Good evening and welcome. Kindly confirm you can hear me and you can see me clearly. Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much, Mercy. Yes, and I can see your messages as well. So it means we are right on track. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How has our week been so far? I mean, some of us had a session with me Thursday, so well, I say we've been interacting. Then we had the weekly review session on Friday, which was yesterday. I'm so glad to see that it's now going well. Because I remember the last time I asked this question, I'm not sure a lot of us had positive answers, but it's really amazing to see that we are doing better. Okay, so we'll be going straight to the point for this evening. However, just wait till it's about 5 minutes past 4 p.m. for more of us to join in. Really, I'm surprised it's still not going well for you. What happened? Did you follow up with the review session? Did you watch the Thursday meeting recording? If you did, then it's supposed to go well for you. However, I would just advise you take it one at a time. Don't try to like get everything in at once because you'll actually be overwhelmed. So do well to start one at a time. How do I mean? You start with, let's say, the Friday review session, go through everything we discussed first of all, ensure you're done with your course contents. Then you go through the Thursday session as well. Really? I thought social listening is supposed to be easier than Python. I don't know. Okay, so what happened or what's happening? You're not able to hear your brand? What's happening? But first things first, answer the simple question. Have you gone through Friday's review session? Have you? Were you online during the review session? And if no, have you gone through it? If you haven't, please go through it. I really advise because a lot of persons had questions on the project during the review and we took our time to go through it together. So please kindly ensure that you are going through it before you conclude that you are having issues with it, please. So if any of us here is equally having same challenge, please ensure you have gone through the Friday review session just so you are on the right track, first of all. All right then, so as we are all aware, I am your speaker for today, your host and your speaker for today. So I'm actually excited about that. And I'm looking forward to the questions you guys will have for me, hopefully. So please don't hesitate to ask me any questions, okay? But while the session is going on, just do well to note down the questions because I may not be able to see and attend to them at the same time. So just note them down. And then when it's time for questions, we can have all of them at once, okay? All right, so just a moment, I will be sharing my screen, but confirm to me once more that you can hear me clearly and you're seeing me, right? Just to cross-check my network connectivity.
Can hear you.
All right, great, great, awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, so sharing my screen in a moment, and then we can commence. So can we see my screen? So yes, just comment with like the thumbs up if you can see my screen. All right, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. Okay. So welcome to this session on careers in data science and analytics. I'm your host and now your speaker for today. So I do hope you enjoyed the session, and then do well to ask me any questions on anything you need clarity about concerning data science and analytics by the end of this presentation. Okay, so just to briefly introduce myself. Greetings, everyone, once again. I am Mary Idonor, often called Coach Mary by very awesome ladies. I am an economist, a chartered accountant, a fraud examiner, and a data analyst. So being the program associate at SciSec NG, I understand the need for more skilled women in this field. So you are very much in the right place and you're very safe with me. Okay. Moving on, these are the key points we'll be using for our discussion for today. First of all, we'll be talking about data. We'll be talking about the key concepts. We'll be looking into popular job roles, factors to consider, and then our questions. Okay, so before now, I understand, or I want to believe we all know what data is basically, and also the different kinds of data. So there will really be no need for me to define what data is. However, data is not, it is actually the present, like it is right now. It is a detail in every aspect of life. Oftentimes, we misinterpret information for data and vice versa. However, it is true that what information is to one person could be data to another person. I think we had expatiated on this during the Friday review session. So certain organizations are now beginning to pick up the nuggets of wisdom and are explicitly leveraging data science to convert information and knowledge to action, thereby leading to, more and more data jobs. Okay, so in essence, before now, organizations didn't really look at the importance of gathering data and analyzing data to find out what the meaning from data is and leveraging on data science to convert information and knowledge to action, right? So what they usually did in time past was to assume for the customers, assume market situations, assume based on what they think they know. But when they realize that actually with data, you can project, you can plan, you can predict, you can even find the causative, that's what led to certain situations happening outside of their plans or outside of their strategies. So these things led to more and more growing demand for data analysts and data jobs entirely. Okay. All right, so we'll be looking into key concepts in data science and analytics. First of all, we'll be discussing about artificial intelligence, big data, data mining in this first part. Okay, so artificial intelligence is the discipline that tries to create systems that are capable of learning, okay? That are capable of learning and reasoning like a human. They learn from experience and find out how to solve problems in our society. So basically what this is trying to say is that the discipline in specific that tries to create systems that are capable of learning and reasoning like human. Now, artificial intelligence, oftentimes we relate it to robotics, you know, machines and all of that. So in artificial intelligence, it tries to create a system that can learn from human beings. An example is Alexa, very popular example, right? We see it a lot in movies these days and of course before now. Another example are solutions surrounding IoT. Sorry about that. Okay, so now what these do is they help us to create machines or create artificial systems that are capable of learning from humans and then reasoning like human beings. So you find out that in some homes where they have like automated system, you know, artificial instruments and technologies, you find out that there are times where you wake up in the morning and your robot already tells you good morning. Would you like a cup of coffee? It has learned that every morning you usually go for a cup of coffee when you wake up. So whenever it sees you're up, oh, okay, it's time to make Mary a cup of coffee. I don't know if you understand. So all this is imbibed in artificial intelligence. Next up, we'll be looking at big data. So big data basically refers to the sheer volume of data, both structured and unstructured, that floods businesses of all kinds every day. So it is no news that everyday businesses receive data, especially bigger corporations, international corporations, and so on and so forth. Imagine an example with a bank, okay? So every day they have like thousands and almost millions of transactions, right? Going on every day. And each of these transactions contain data, transaction ID, the amount, you know, sender's details, receiver's details, you know, account number, the timing, and so on and so forth. Now, the collation of all this data that a business come across every day, whether they are structured or unstructured, are actually referred to as big data. So it is the massive generation of data from social network, mobile devices, sensors, you know, and other data sources in general. Okay. Data mining. Now, data mining is a set of techniques, okay, and technologies that allow exploring large databases automatically or semi-automatically. Okay, so with data mining now, it helps us to explore our large data, big data, of course, either with automated systems, semi-automated system, or even manual systems, though manual systems are definitely not advisable. However, there are still corporations that deal with such, so we can't outrightly rule that out. So data mining includes all the technologies you use in exploring those large databases as a whole. So you might be starting with a focus in mind, you know, before going into the data exploration, or you might just, okay, generally have the large data without any particular purpose or any particular focus or drive. And then you're supposed to develop, you know, explore the data and then extract reasonable information from it. Okay, so all right. So in this part B, we'll be looking at machine learning, we're looking at data manipulation, you know, data cleaning, and so on and so forth. Now, under machine learning, This refers to the process by which computers develop pattern recognition or the ability to continually learn and make predictions. Okay, so an example of this machine learning can be a software, for example, that has been created. You know, you input data of, let's say, your customers and their buying patterns. And then this software now goes on to develop patterns, of course, from the data you have imputed, and then make predictions for you. So it can tell you, okay, for customers within the age of, let's say, 40 to 65 years, which are like the older persons in the economy, within the ages of 40 to 65 years, these are the brands they purchase more often. These are the times they purchase them. So in the nearest future, these are the brands they will likely purchase. So another way to look at that could be, for example, health data, right? Maybe data from a hospital or so. And then you had the frequency of visits of different age categories, right? Now, if you're looking at the data of people in their 20s, like their 30s and so on and so forth, it can reasonably predict that by their 60s, they might be having more frequent visitations to the hospitals than they do now, based on the statistics of people in their 60s and how often they actually visit the hospital, right? Because, you know, as you age, you have more health challenges, you know, more need for some supplements and so on and so forth. So that's like what machine learning helps to do, helps to make more futuristic predictions and yeah, helps in decision making as a whole. So data manipulation. For data manipulation, it is defined as the process of taking disorganized data and standardizing it so you can easily access it, easily consolidate it, and easily analyze it, right? So it also involves mapping data fields from source to destination. Basically, what data manipulation is simply having a pool of data, all right, raw data, in some cases, incomplete data, data that has, you know, several missing values and so on and so forth. Now you take that incomplete data or the raw data, and then you standardize it, you consolidate it, you analyze it. Okay, now a better example could be, I present you with a data set of all primary schools in Nigeria, right? It's a lot of primary schools. Okay, now you take that raw data and then you consolidate it. You add up all the primary schools in, let's say, each of the geopolitical zones. You can decide to, okay, let me arrange this data based on geopolitical zones, right? So you can have about 6 different data sets for each of them. And then you now consolidate each of them. So primary school, okay, sex of the gender rather, you have male, you know, you have female, you know, and so on and so forth, height, complexion, religion, etc., and other details of data. So you consolidate each of them for the 6 geopolitical zones. So the act of doing all of this to coordinate the data and standardize it is actually data manipulation, right? Okay, so next up, we'll be looking at data cleaning. And for data cleaning, you will need to clean your data for optimal results, right? Now, the data is thoroughly cleaned for further analysis. You will need to change null values. You may have missing values in your data set. You may have outliers, you know, and some other inconsistencies in your data set. So what data cleaning does is it picks up the data you have, let's say, manipulated, you have standardized, and then it checks for null values. So there are times where you can give out questionnaires, for example, and people don't want to respond. Maybe they end up just giving you only their names and like a few other details. Now you know that the data gotten from that particular questionnaire is incomplete because you need all the responses, right? So what data cleaning tends to do is to find values for those missing values, those outliers, and so on and so forth. So sometimes you might work with the average for the kind of response, maybe based on their age, or maybe based on their gender, or maybe based on their profession. So you tend to find, okay, what is the average? What has been the the regular response for people around this category for this particular column that is missing. All right, so that's like to help your data to have more consistency and to fill up those missing values, you know, the outliers, and to treat a lot of other data inconsistencies. All right, so if we're together, just type yes, please. So I know we're still hearing me, or seeing me and my presentation. Okay, so that's great. That's great, actually. Okay. Next up, we'll be considering popular job roles within data science and data analytics. Of course, number one would be data scientist. Next up, we'll be looking at data analyst. We'll be looking at a data engineer, you know, a data statistician, a project manager. Please note that this is not an exhaustive list. This doesn't mean these are all the job roles that are available for persons within data science and analytics. However, these are the popular ones that come up, you know, the most demanded rather, the ones that actually are more required by organization. Yeah, that's a better way to put it. So these are the popular ones, right? So data scientist, analyst, engineer, statistician, and project manager. So for a data scientist, this is a professional who specializes in analyzing and interpreting data. They use fair data science skills to help organizations make better decisions and improve their operations, right? So a data scientist Okay, so I had a bit of a glitch with my network, but I'm back, I'm back, I'm back. Hi, can we hear me now? Okay, so can we hear me better now? All right, all right, all right. So I was just going on to talk about a data analyst, right? So a data analyst has the responsibility of a predictive model based on the data studied. Another critical responsibility of a data analyst is to translate findings into reports, which can be understood by management, and then help them accurately visualize the possible outcome. Now, these data analysts are also supposed to maintain databases and data systems. Now, this seems like a whole lot of, writing and English. So to break it down, a data analyst actually analyzes data, having in mind a model or a predictive outcome, right? A possible outcome. So you analyze the data, you identify trends, and then you create a predictive model based on the data studied and what the possible outcome should be, or what the direction of your findings should be. And then you are required to create and communicate your findings in form of a report to management. So basically, you're working like directly with management, to help them in formulating new strategies about different parts of the organization based on your data analysis, right? Okay, so next up, we'll be looking at the next role, which is the role of a data engineer. So a data engineer works in a variety of settings to build systems that collect, that manage, and convert raw data into useful information for data scientists and business analysts to interpret. Their ultimate goal is to make data accessible so that organizations can use it to evaluate and then optimize their performance. So a data engineer basically is charged with the responsibility of developing systems, developing tools, developing platforms for data analysts and business analysts to be able to work with their data and then interpret their data. So someone, like you can call them like the back end, so to speak. So they create systems like, let's say, the Python Anaconda platform now that we are using. They create systems like Excel workbook, Excel sheets and so on. And then more systems depending on the organization's needs. There are some specified systems that work with certain organizations and what they need to like access and manage their data. So it's the data engineers that go on to say, okay, what do you need? What features do you need? Okay, how do you need it to affect your data? Okay, how do you want to interpret your data on this platform or on this system? And then they go at the back to like make it work. All right, they impute those settings and so on and so forth. So another thing data engineers do is they work hand in hand with like app developers, web developers and so on and so forth. Why? Because they understand what the needs of the data scientists and business analysts are, and then they understand how to impute those variety of settings. Okay. All right, so next up, we'll be looking at a data statistician. Okay, so basically a statistician is a professional who works in the field of applied statistics to solve real world business problems. Okay, so their basic responsibilities are to collect accurate data, process the raw data, and then analyze data sets with specialized software to help them in critical business decision making. Now, statisticians are more sought after as employees across various industries, of course, which include business, health and medicine, government, physical sciences, environmental sciences, and so on and so forth. So now what distinguishes a statistician is that they create surveys, they create questionnaires, they create opinion polls, they create feedback systems, okay, to collect this data, and then they just analyze those feedback systems. So they are not how do I put it? They are different from data analysts in the sense that they do not have that whole broad knowledge of how to analyze the big data. Now, what they are charged with basically is to create systems for collecting data, surveys, opinions, polls, and so on and so forth, questionnaires. Now they do this and then analyze those surveys, those polls, those questionnaires, and then now give a feedback in form of, let's say, a report, give a detailed feedback to management. Okay, based on our survey, based on our polls of health and medicine, based on the questionnaires we gave out, these are our findings. Sometimes they make use of softwares and so on and so forth to help them to analyze this data. All right, so next up, we'll be looking at the final role, which is the role of a project manager. So a data analytics project manager has the unique role, very unique role in the organization. They are responsible for ensuring that projects are completed on time and within budget, while also meeting the business objectives of the company. Now you can call them the management. They are not directly. Job is to coordinate. Their job is on time and within budget, based on management speculations, based on client specifications and so on and so forth. Now, these people may not work directly with data in most cases, all right? So what they do is, okay, they take access or, notes of what the customer's needs are, specifications by management, and they relay this with the data analyst, data scientist or the statistician, and so on and so forth. And they manage the entire project process and ensure that the results are completed on time and within budget. Now, this requires a strong understanding of both the technical aspect and the business aspect of the project. Data analytics project managers may also be responsible for managing client relationships and ensuring that all parties involved in a project are happy with its progress. This might include regular meetings with clients to discuss project status and updates and so on and so forth. Now you can understand that, okay, if you don't want to directly have your hands on coding, programming, any analytics software, you just, yes, you have technical knowledge. However, you also have business knowledge. You can go ahead to become a project manager. You deal directly with the clients. You deal directly with also the data analytics analysts, the data scientists, engineers, and so on and so forth. So you're more or less the manager, the coordinator in all of this, right? So that's basically the role of a project manager. Okay. So here are some factors to consider when you want to choose a job role in data science and analytics. Here are some important things you should actually look out for and try to, access and give your own answers to certain questions on whether this is the right job role for you or not. So just as you consider factors such as, interest on any particular investment, your budget, your return on investment, while also choosing a career, the decision to opt for the right data science and analytics role should be seen through these filters. First of all, you try to assess your current skill level and then see if learning data science will add any value to it. Okay, and then if peradventure you have assessed your current skill level, you have assessed where your passion is, where your zeal is, what your keen interests are, what your future goals are, and then you see, okay, data science and analytics actually fit into this in one way or the other, Okay, so that helps you to know, okay, for sure, whether these roles are for you. Next up, you plan your budget accordingly, because for any new endeavor, any new role, you will need to learn about it. Okay, and this will involve either free courses, either paid courses, either certifications, local certifications, or international certifications. You need to plan your budget accordingly, and then consider the time you are willing to put into pursuing the course full time. Next up, you want to consider talking to people who have already taken the course and gather your own reviews. Now, this may involve you having a particular coach who is into that field, and then you discuss one-on-one with the person, tell them what your career goals are, and then they can give you an advice on how their journey into having a career in that course was, and give you some reviews. You have like a head start on some mistakes to avoid, some things to do that actually worked for them. So you more or less have you can have a faster journey into whatever choice of job role within data science and analytics. Next up, you try to make personal findings on the demand for the skilled personnel in the job role of choice. So you also want to know if this job role is relevant in my society, in the country I find myself, which of them have higher demand, which of them are people more interested in employing people for, which of them are companies looking and yearning for more personnel in. So that's a good way to know which of the job roles actually would work for you. Okay. So with that understood, here is like a brief summary of today's session, broken down in 2 points. Number one is have a passion and keen interest for data in order for you to succeed. You can't succeed if you don't have interest for anything. You can't succeed if you don't have a passion, a drive for it. And then point two is keep the zeal going. It will never get easy. That's the honest truth. No one said it would be easy. No one said, in fact, as a matter of fact, the more you go on in any particular journey, the more you realize that it's getting tougher. But that's where the beauty of success comes in, knowing that you actually crossed a feat that you never thought you could actually have come over. You crossed a bridge that you never thought you could have made it through. All right, that's the beauty of success. That's the beauty of celebrating yourself. I'm not sure there's anything you have achieved in this life per se that was outrightly easy, not even being born. I mean, it wasn't an easy task, right? You cried when you came out. However, it was for the better good, right? So whenever you have anything going on, any challenges, the challenges, have the zeal that have at the back of your mind that these challenges are only to polish you, only to make you better, only to make you more reformed in whatever it is you are going through. Okay, so do not forget that it will all be worth it at the end of the day. So finally, here we have questions, and it is at this point I'll be sharing our attendance link. So if you have your questions, just type it in the comment section. So thank you very much for listening. Okay, thank you for listening. And these are my details. You can send me an email directly, mary.idonor@scisec.ng. Okay. So I'll be looking out for your questions, or if you have any suggestions for me though. You're welcome. You're welcome. So we don't have any so well. I mean, we're supposed to have questions for me, right? Even if it's nothing within what I have discussed. Let's say you just have a concern or something, just ask me anything. Okay, thank you too. Thank you too. All right, so I have shared the attendance link, so do well to Okay, so I have a question here. What category does MATLAB fall under? Okay, so basically MATLAB is a tool, right? Used by data engineers, data analysts, data scientists, just anybody. Now, the beauty of these tools are that they are applicable across board. Now you can find, it's just like Excel, for example. Excel can be used by data analysts, data scientists, data engineer. It's not specific to any of them. I don't know if you understand. So it depends on your goal, what it is what goal are you trying to achieve, and what features does this tool have for you. So that's what will now inform, okay, your use of a particular tool or your choice of using a particular tool over another. I don't know if you understand that. I don't know if that's clear. Okay, so asking for a small tutorial on how you use Brand 24 for social listening. That will mean me doing your assignment for you, which is actually what you are supposed to do by yourself. So I will not be able to do a tutorial for you. However, after the deadline is over, I can actually do a tutorial for you. But till then, I will not be able to do that. Attendance link has already been shared. Kindly refer to earlier parts of the chat or the YouTube channel, and you'll find the link there. Okay, so someone says, I was considering data analysis, but I don't have an interest in mathematics. I'm wondering if I can survive. Okay, now, first of all, you should know what the difference is. Data analytics, data scientists, which of them? Because I'm seeing analysis. So kindly specify which of the roles we have spoken about. And then, yeah, should I face my fears or go for something entirely different? Okay, so first things first, I said you should have a keen interest, okay? So personally, what informed my decision on going into data analytics was my flair for fraud examination, all right? So when I went into fraud examination, that I actually explored it, I needed to analyze, right, to produce the right reports I needed, and then to understand what these data are for big corporations and so on and so forth. Now, because of that, my keen interest, I naturally developed a very good drive for mathematics, statistics. As a matter of fact, I think I was doing so well in those. Why? Because I knew I needed this to achieve my bigger goal. Now, it depends on you. If you're having or if you're not having an interest in a particular course because you're scared it's hard, or because you're scared you don't just want to touch anything solution or problem finding, that would be a big deal, especially if you are considering data science and analytics career, because you need to have a problem solving skill. That's like the first requirement. And for you to do that, of course, you need to have knowledge of mathematics, and then analytics skills as well. Sorry. Just to confirm, is the deadline Monday? Yes, the deadline is Monday midnight. Deadline is midnight on Monday. So we all agreed that during the Friday review session. Okay, What else? Okay, data analyst, you mean? All right, so I hope I've answered your question. I hope I've answered your question. So right from university days, I used to love watching series, investigative series, investigative channels, murder and crime scene, investigation, those weird stuff, I know. But I had a very big flair for such kind of things. So though I wanted to work on the data side of it, I didn't want to be on the field, not at all. I didn't want to have to go out or interact with, no, not at all. I just answered your question. The deadline is Monday midnight. I actually just answered your question. Okay, so I didn't want to do anything dirty, and I didn't want my face out there as per, oh, this is the person that actually solved this crime. Some bad guys can actually be looking out for you like that. So I didn't want that. I wanted to be like at the back end. And so I discovered that, okay, studying fraud examination, I knew I had to have knowledge of data analytics, right? Because in studying, in being able to examine fraud, you should be able to understand data. You should be able to analyze the data, and then it helps in your report finding and your reporting in general to management. Okay, so basically, in essence, all of this had like a connection, so to speak. So whatever it is, whatever field to delve into, find the connection and find what you need. So if it's mathematics you need, if it's programming you need, if it is computer science skills you need. So do know what your end goal is with regards to whatever it is you need. Okay, so I hope that's clear for everyone. Any other question we have? Okay, let me just check YouTube quickly. I have some questions there. Okay, can I have a role that is like intersecting absolutely data science and analytics? Absolutely, absolutely. As a matter of fact, sometimes in each of the roles, you come across the other, especially in an analytics, right? In each of the roles, you come across the other, or you come across some things that will require you to fulfill some roles within the other. Okay, so absolutely, there are times like that. I asked because I'm not too cool with coding. Then why don't you consider being a project manager? They don't have to code, they don't have to they don't have to use any of those tools, right? All they need, okay, technical knowledge, yes. Business knowledge. They make more with customers. They design structures to specifications. They have management, and they are the top guys. They are the top guys. So why don't you think about that? Okay, so my question is, what if someone wants to venture into data analysis? What are the fundamentals? How do you mean? Aside learning what data is, what tools, learn about the roles, what other fundamentals do you refer, like what other fundamentals are you referring to? Because basically we have provided you with like the fundamentals. So I want to know what else you mean. I want to know what else you mean. What other fundamentals are you referring to? Are you talking of certifications? Are you talking what else? Because in the factors to consider, I spoke about speaking with a coach or a mentor, like someone who is already into it. I spoke about making your personal research about the job role, finding out what the demand is, current demand by companies are. So I also spoke about having keen passion. So what other fundamentals are you referring to, please? Okay, so Canva is actually a web app. You can actually access it without having to download it. Just Google Canva. and then you'll be able to create an account there and do your project. Okay, so if you're having, you can even access it on your mobile device, like it mustn't be on your PC. It's a web app, so any platform, any device you're using, as far as it's on a web browser, you can actually access Canva and then deal with your project there. Same also with Brand24, you don't need to download anything. Just go on there, create an account, navigate the interface, and then put in your brands. This is me trying to give you like hints. Okay, so you put in your brands, you specify the number of days, which we agreed to be 30 days. Specify the platforms you want, the social media platforms you want. Also do well to state that in your reports to the social media platforms you're analyzed with. You may choose social media platforms that will require you to log into your own, or you may choose social media platforms that don't require you to log in at all. So depending on what you want and what you're trying to achieve. Then next up, you analyze your data. Okay, you see your findings, you see the listenings and so on and so forth from the platforms. And then you go on to look for report, the option for report. No, we are not submitting after 30 days. No. The listening is for 30 days. Like you put it there on Brand24. You specify the number of days you want to analyze a brand. So that's 30 days. It happens like within seconds. You can get your report within seconds. So what you're trying to do is, okay, I want to analyze this brand for the past 30 days, and then give me what the report is, or give me what findings is. So it's not you, no, not at all. You're the one specifying the number of days you want Brand24 to listen or monitor that particular brand. If it says enter your brand name, it's optional for you. If you have a personal brand, fine. If you are affiliated with the brand you are listening for, also fine. Like if it's your personal brand, that's good and fine. However, if it's not, you can give it like a dummy brand name, anything. Turn the results within minutes. So it's not you listening and like logging in for 30 days. You don't even have up to 30 days for free trial, right? So it's for you to impute, okay, on the software, check this brand for me for this number. Nobody's asking anything about that. We're not trying analyzing with Tableau. So have we tried anything on Tableau? Have we been able to try anything on Tableau? Who is with me? Who is with me? Okay. Have you checked with your network concerning downloading it? I don't know. Are you using the right URL? Then have you tried downloading it on your mobile device?
Evening, ma. Sorry.
Evening.
Just
Okay, I thought someone wanted to speak. Miracle, are you still speaking? Okay. I'm not showing you where to download. Oh, okay. So just cross check you're working with the right URL, please. I just have a few more minutes with us. We're calling it a day. Okay, so a few points to note. Next week. First things first, our project deadline has been extended to Monday midnight. So do well to make your submission before then. Since it's been extended to Monday midnight, do well to make your submission before then. Yes, I can see that my network is actually glitching. It's raining heavily here in Abuja, so I'm having serious network issues. But I'm glad you guys were able to hear me a lot better today. Right? Do well to make a submission to be final reviews, and then feedback. We'll be having sessions where you missed it, the part where you got it right, and so on and so forth. Yes. So other information will also be communicated, like I mentioned. Okay, so as I was saying, we have a physical event in Abuja next in a few weeks. So we'll communicate that to us for those of us that will be able to attend. Then once again, project deadline is Monday midnight. And then the whole of next week is going to be review with we'll be ending the week with our final assessments. So kindly prepare for that. And ensure you have finished all your course contents before then, so you're not missing out on any of the juicy stuff. All right, so with that being said, see you all in the Discord channel